Okay, so I'm going to create a refresher video here to just kind of show some additional resources related to HTML and how to set up the initial tags, also the formatting tags involved in creating the HTML file, also how to save it. I'm using the Caret program here. If you open up Google Chrome, and you can actually even just Google the Caret, C-A-R-E-T, Caret extension, and then you just add it like any other add-on, any other extension. If you got a Windows computer, you can also use Notepad, Notepad++. There's probably thousands of different. These are just HTML editors. So I'm just going to kind of go through a refresher here. We went over this for weeks in person and virtual. I just felt good. We kind of reached a point in the class it might be good to go back and have a little refresher. Alright, so with the we've got the angle brackets here. You hold down the shift key, you got the comma and the period on the keyboard, makes the angle brackets. So I'm going to go through the initial tags here first, because that's the first part of setting up the thing. You can actually save a blank one and then add these in later, as long as you get it in an HTML format first. But we'll go along with this. Alright, so our first tag is HTML. That just sets the language itself. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Just kind of tells the browser that this is an HTML document. Okay, we got the head tag that we're going to look at more later. It does need to be in there, more for two-part scripts. You have the head tag and the slash head tag, and two-part scripts goes in between it, like if you're making a game or something along those lines. We will not be using it for the first couple of projects, but it still needs to be in here. Okay, title and slash title. These two kind of go together. Notice one has a slash and one don't. That just means this is the start tag and this is the end tag. Like for example, if you was going to bold something, you wouldn't want the entire page bolded, so you would need it to stop bolding at some point, which is a different tag, but a pretty good example. You might bold one word or the title with the start tag, and then at some point you would want it to stop bolding, because you wouldn't want the entire thing to be bolded. Okay, I'm just going to stick some regular text in here. I'm going to make up a company here like P-Berg Electronics. We'll say that's my little electronics company and what I'm making this about. And then, as we talked about before, the head tag and the slash head tag are for two-part scripts with CSS and JavaScript and things. We need them to be in here, but we're not going to do much with them here in this part of the course. You don't have to skip a line. I just kind of habit of doing that for organization purposes. Because I got kind of like the heading section up here and then the body section and closing down here, the content that actually shows up on the page. Okay, so these next two tags go together. I'll skip a couple lines, slash body. Okay, and then slash HTML. Okay, so this just tells the browser this is the end of my HTML document. So if you're on an iPhone or something, or you're on a laptop or PC, it tells the browser that's the end of the document. Okay, so right here is where most of the action happens. In between these body tags is where everything you would physically see on the page should go. Pictures, text with the paragraphs, and paragraphs wrapped around images, lines, video, titles. This stuff would go in between the body tags. So you wouldn't like come up here and start typing a sentence or anything like that, or down here. If it's a good rule to remember, if it's anything that you would physically see on the page, it would go in between the body tags. Okay. So these are the 8 initial tags in order: HTML, head, title, slash title, slash head body slash body slash HTML. Those are called the 8 initial tags, and they're needed to get the HTML document started. Okay. There's different ways of doing this. You can go down here to this little drop down box at the bottom and go up here and select an HTML document. Now you can also go to File, Save File As, which is how we did it in class. This is our little sample that we did in class. I'll just save it in that folder. You would create a folder, now that we're talking about it, you would create a folder to put everything into, all your pictures, all your HTML files. It has to be in a folder together. If not, it's not going to work. If you got stuff in My Documents, some stuff in pictures, some stuff in video, some stuff on the desktop, it just creates a problem. So you'd want to put all this into one folder. Okay, so I'm going to give this a name. I'll call it practice. I've already got a practice, so for one of our more recent assignments, I'll name it practice2.html. Okay, because I already have a practice folder in this folder. So practice2.html. I hit save. It shows up here at the top on my tab and lets me know that that's correct. It is also in my folder. If I were to bring up my folder, I would now have a browser version of this document that I could open up with a browser. Okay, so I'm going to just type me in a statement here. This is a sample sentence. Okay, just something to see when we save the document and open it with a browser. Okay, I'm going to go to File. I don't have to go to File, Save As every time. After you've already saved it, you can hit Control S or Save File. It doesn't have to bring up that other dialog box, that prompt and all that stuff. Okay, so if I go to, now I have Practice 2 file that's running. Alright. Now let's look at changing the background of it. Okay, so I go back here, get inside the body tag. I could have two different ways of doing this. If I wanted to set a picture as a background, I would do background equals and then quotes, because if anything equals anything, it needs the quotes around it. And then I would put the file name in there, like bg.jpg. Okay, and that would create that file with within, it would set the background as bg.jpg, as long as I had that background picture in the same folder. That's important, and it needs to be a large image too. If you're trying to do like an all-in-one cover the entire screen, you're going to want like a, I don't know, 1500 pixel wide document there, or image there. Okay, you can also set a color as a background. Okay, so I can set this as like blue, and then save or Control S, bring this up and hit my refresh button. Now it's blue. Okay, so now I can change my font color, because black a lot of times doesn't show up real well. So you want it to have opposites. you want to be able to read the text really well on the background picture or color. So if it's a dark background, you want light colors. Light background, you want dark font colors. Okay, so do that. Font space color equals. I'm trying to type with this big microphone here on my laptop, so I'm slowing me down a little. Okay, so font color. So you think about what would show up really well on blue. So obviously like a yellow or a white, you know, these type. Okay. Also, I would want to end it at some point. So I put my end tag in there. So every time you want to switch colors, or that's the end of whatever it is that you're wanting to, that's the end of your text, you would need a /font tag. If you didn't, you wouldn't be able to. It would be multiple not ended color files there, colors on your text, and you would run into some problems eventually with that. So you'd want to end your tags. You know, there's no problem if this is going to be a lot of stuff you add to later. You could push that way down there if you wanted it all to be the same color. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so this is a tag, and this is an attribute. It actually color codes it and caret for you. The more purplish ones are the tags. The more burgundy ones are the attributes. And then whatever you set the variable, whatever you set the equal to, a lot of times it's in blue. So if the color code is with that, then that usually means that you've typed it correctly. So it's kind of a little way to test yourself. Okay. Alright, so let's save this. File save, or we can hit Control S, go over here, hit the refresh screen or F5, and now we have some white font on a blue background, which shows up a lot better. We can also change the size of the text, which is another attribute. We'll get right inside there. But size equals. Okay, font sizes are a little tricky. If you don't set a font size, it's the default font size of 3. And font sizes with just plain HTML, you're a little limited. Not so much with CSS, but with plain HTML, we're looking at right now that we are we're looking at now. The font size goes from 1 to 7. Okay, so if I put a 7 in there and then save it, go back, refresh my screen. Now I have a font size of 7. Okay, so let's say this is a title. A title at the top of the page. So we might give this a name like Peberg Electronics. And I can save that. And refresh. Okay, so if it's a title at the top, I would probably want it centered, so that leads us into our next tag. Okay, it really wouldn't matter. You could put this tag right before the text. You could put it over here. As long as it didn't come after it. I mean, you wouldn't want to go up here in this section, or you still want to stay inside the body tag. An easy rule to do it, if you're going to modify text, is just get right before the first letter of the text, and you're pretty safe there to do that. Okay, simple tag here, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just a center tag. And then I don't want my entire page to be centered, so I'm going to put the end tag /center right there. Okay, so if I save that, refresh. Now I've got a centered title. I've got the questions before. Does the end tags really matter? You know, as far as it working, like if I were to move that over here, the order of that, as far as it working, physically working in the browser, it doesn't. But if you notice, let me undo that. See this little red X over here? This is program related. It says it's a violation of the. It's basically a violation of the order of it. As far as it physically working and me grading it, you're fine. But you know, as far as making sure that there's no X's or anything like that, put that in order like that. It takes care of it. But either way, it will work, as you saw in the example. I showed the preview before I even fixed it to make the X go away. So we're not really particularly too much worried with that at this point. Okay. Okay, so say I want another line of code, another line of text. So there's a tag for spacing and double spacing. It's the break tag. It's actually one of the tags that is a start and end tag all in one. So we have a start and end tag all in one. We've got the tag and a space / So there is a space between here to get your. There's a thing called, you can get your code validated. So to have good coding and keep it all clean, we have the start and end tag in there with it. Let's say I want it to be double spaced. I could put 2 BRs in there, 2 breaks, and then I could add me another sentence. I'll give myself a little space here. This is a sample sentence. Okay. All right. So if I save that, that should push that sentence down and break it up. That way, it's not it's not stuck up there to my title. So you can see it formatted it, it moved it back over here to the left. So we're in good shape as far as that. It moved it, it did what it was supposed to. We do need to fix our font color and font size and all that stuff. Just to save time in the video, I'm going to copy and paste that. I don't really need a font size of 7. If somebody's going to print this out, that's going to waste the toner. You have to think about your audience too. Maybe about a font size of 5. And of course I want my /font tag. Okay. So that's going to make this text in between the tags 5, and size of, actually I'm going to change the color just for preview purposes. Maybe I'll make this one yellow just for preview purposes. So file save or Control S. I'm going to go over here and refresh. Okay, so pretty common font size of 5 there. It'll print out. It'll read well. It'll print out pretty well. But it lets your title stand out a little bit and doesn't waste people's toner or ink on with huge font if they're going to print it out or something. Okay. Okay, so say this P-Berg Electronics is the title. This is going to be the start of my content area where my text and pictures and whatever it might be is going to go. What I probably would do, and what we've kind of assigned here is in the assignments, is have a title, and then we'll have a menu with some links, and then something to divide it out, and then we would make it down here to our content area with our pictures and videos, so our pictures and text. Okay, so to do that, I might get right in here and put this simple little tag HR /. Very handy little tag that will divide up sections of the page. HR /. If I go over here and save it and refresh, now I have some division between this title area at the top, and I'm going to put a menu in here, and then our bottom area. Okay. But I will come back. I'll actually come back to that. Let's stick with this content area first. We'll come back to the menu section. Okay. All right. I'll now add an image in here. We'll start a new tag. IMGSRC stands for image source. So the tag is image, the attribute is source, or what source is the image pulling from. It has to have the quotes or the picture will not show up, and the picture also has to be in the folder. So if I go back to my folder, I've got a picture here called Construct1. It is a JPEG. If I hover over it, it tells me it's a JPEG. It could be a PNG, it could be a GIF, a GIF file, BMP, paint files. There's lots of different ones, types of picture files it could be. Okay, so I'm going to put construct1.jpg, and then I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to refresh that page and see if my picture shows up. Now if your picture doesn't show up, you want to check that you've entered it correctly. Whenever you save pictures, give it a real simple file name, all lowercase, no spaces. Real long file names with spaces and all, it just creates more, makes it more difficult and creates more opportunities for error to take place. Okay. So check to make sure that the file name is correct. Check to make sure about spaces, and also make sure that a lot of times when students ask me about this, the picture is not in the correct folder. It's in the pictures folder or on the desktop or downloads or something like that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to make a quick paragraph here. I'm just going to copy this sentence, and you would have actual original text in here, but just to save time for the video, I'm going to try to put together a quick paragraph, enough text to make up a paragraph or so. Okay, so that should be all right. Okay, so you can see how my paragraph is here, but it got stuck at the bottom. That's given up a lot of good space here, a lot of good real estate on your screen. So we want to wrap the text around the picture. So if we want to wrap it around the picture, put the align attribute in there. So you can put align equals left, align equals right. It actually kind of works the opposite. It's talking about the picture and not the text. So if you're going to wrap the text around, so if you put left, it's going to put the picture on left. If you put right, it puts the picture on the right and the text on the left. Okay, so if I save this, you'll see what I mean. Put align equals left, and it neatly wraps the text around the picture. So if I would have put align equals right, which I'll do, I'll go ahead and do that just to show you. Okay, if I were to do align equals right and save it. Okay, notice what happened here. When I did align equals left for the first picture and paragraph, it pulled the second picture and paragraph up into it, which makes sense because it's still wrapping it. So to solve that, I'm just going to stick, it's really easy to solve this. I'm just going to put some BR tags for now. Put a few BR tags in there, and might be too many, we'll see. If it is, we'll take a few out. Now that'll work okay. Okay, so you can solve it that way. The paragraph tag can also help with this. We're going to keep this video pretty basic. Okay. All right. So I could put a few more of those in there. I'm trying to put you together a quick little generic sample here. Maybe I'll alternate them. Line equals left, line equals right, line equals left. I think I had 3 pictures in my folder. Construct 2, construct 3, I think was what they were called. Again, those need to be in your folder. Okay, so if I refresh this, right, got picture, paragraph, picture, paragraph, picture, paragraph. It's all neatly wrapped around it there. Okay. Also, I'll go back real quick here. Say I want to set a picture as my background. Background equals, you change BG color to equals, and it was I already have this picture in my folder, so this will work on mine, but you don't have this picture in your folder. Just want to point that out. And I believe it was a JPEG. So this is a large image file that will take up my screen. It won't tile it over and over and over because it's too small. Okay, so I'm going to save this and refresh my screen. And then now I have a theme. I'm doing a construction theme going on here. My pictures are related. I'm actually going to change my title because it says P-Berg Electronics. So we'll make that match up. This is this title here, the tag, is what shows up in Google search if you upload it to the internet, and on the tab itself. So we'll put Bob's Construction. But we also have the title. Maybe we want them to be the same. Okay. Alright, so I'll save that. Made those 2 little changes there. Notice it's P-Berg Electronics up here, P-Berg Electronics here, but I'm doing construction. Now I have Bob's Construction there and Bob's Construction there. Alright, so moving on to our next section, which is related to links. I've got this HR tag here which made that divider line. I'm going to put the link right above it. Tag for that is a href. The tag is A, the attribute is href. I'll put equals. Okay, and the end tag is /A. Carrot actually typed that for me. So the address, I want to link to the page that I'm actually creating here. Practice 2.html, and we'll say that is you want to name this what it is. So if it's a home page, you would save it as home. If it's I'm doing construction, so if it's a page about equipment, you would put equipment here. You would save this as equipment.html and make the link equipment or the link, the regular text for people to see, to click on equipment or pricing or whatever it might be. That way people can stay organized with what it is that you're trying to do, and how they can navigate your page better. You don't want to put like page 1, page 2, page 3. That doesn't tell anybody anything, and it doesn't work well in search engines. We're just doing a practice example here, so I'm just going to leave this as practice. I guess I could say put home, which might be more fitting. I'm going to bring this up, hit refresh, and then now I have a link called practice. If I click on it, I'm already on the practice page, so it's not really changing. But that's how that works. For example, I could add another one in here just to save some time here. I'm going to do that, and say this was the we'll say this is home. If this was a real site about construction, and we'll say this is I don't know, quotes, or let's go with equipment. We'd have different pictures of equipment that we have there. Okay, and then I'll refresh. Okay, so now I have 2 links. Notice the default is purple. It was blue, and then you click on it, it turns purple. That is the default colors. You can change those, and it really helps. It's kind of an odd place. Some people think that where it goes, you'd think it would be down here with the links, but it's not. It goes up here inside the body tag itself. There's 3 of them. Link equals, and then a link equals, and then you have v-link equals. So this link equals is the color of the link when the page when the page first loads. A link is the color of the link while you're clicking on it. It stands for active link. So it is the color of the link while you're clicking on it. And then v-link is the color after you've clicked on it. So a lot of people will set link equals and v-link the same, and maybe change a link. The main thing is that it's highly visible in all 3 states. So I've got a darker background, so I wouldn't want to set this to like purple or black or something like that. So maybe I would do like yellow, like a construction, and then orange probably show up pretty good with the particular background I've got. And then maybe I'll set this back to yellow. Alright, so if I save this, refresh it, okay, when I click on it, it turns orange and it goes back to yellow. Okay. Alright, so a couple other little things before we close this video out. The home and equipment, they kind of stick together, so we do a little something here to kind of separate those. And this is not necessarily HTML, it's called ASCII code. So you don't need the brackets whenever you put these. And NBSP semicolon. That makes a space. That'll put an extra space, a horizontal space, between them. If you remember, the BR tag made a vertical space. This will make a horizontal space. Then if I hold down Shift key and the key right above the Enter key, again, that's hold the Shift key and the key right above the Enter key. It's actually the backslash key, but I'm holding down Shift key. That makes that little divider line. And then I'm going to put another little space, another little non-break space, NBSP semicolon, on the other side. What that'll do is that I'll have this link, and then I'll have a space, a divider line, a space, and then the next link. Kind of keeps it from sticking together. Okay, so if I hit refresh, Now I've got a little bit of a gap here. Notice the divider line is regular HTML. It's not part of the link itself. So we're going to need a font color tag to get that to show up. Okay, which we already have up here. I'm just going to reuse that. Another option is to, now let's not do that because of the font size. Okay, so I'm just gonna separate that out. I'm gonna put another font tag. I don't need my links to be that big, maybe 5. And then I'll set this maybe to a yellow to fit my construction scheme. And then I don't want to end it right here because it won't, I need this to be part of it. I could put it here, or I could put this underneath of it, just as long as it's in between it. And then I need to end this font tag with /font. Okay, so what that'll do if I save it now, because that's regular text and not part of the code, or not part of the link, I need that formatting tag to get that to show up. And the last little thing with this part of it, this just little intro video, I'd probably want to center my menu. And we've already had that tag. So I'm going to put center on one side and /center on the other. And then if I hit the save, go ahead and save the file and hit the refresh button or F5. Now I've got Bob's Construction. I've got a link, they work. I've got my link, A link, V link all set. It changes the colors when I click on it for my A link. I've got my divider HR line here to divide up top and bottom. I've got my 3 pictures. I've got text wrapped around the pictures. I've got a background image. You could also do background color, font size. One last little thing that we left off. Sometimes you might, like if you're typing a Word document, also you might need to use bold, italicize, underline here and there. Sparingly, you don't want to use them everywhere because it loses its effect. But let's say this is an important word here, this word sample. So I could do a B tag on one side and a /B on the other. And then I could save it and refresh. Now this is bolded. I could do the same with my title at the top. I've got my title right here, Bob's Construction. Maybe I want that. Maybe I don't want it bolded. Maybe I want it underlined. So I put a U on one side, /U on the other, and save it. And refresh. Now Bob's Construction is underlined. I could also italicize it with an I for italicize, /I because I don't want the entire document to be underlined and italicized. And I could save it and hit refresh. Now it's bolded. Or not, no, this is bolded with the B tag, and then Bob's Construction is italicized and underlined. Okay. Alright, so that is a quick example on how to get an HTML document set up. Just kind of a little refresher of some of the major elements that we went over in the previous few weeks.